All right, so get this. Today we're diving into the AI Daily News Digest. We're talking Twitter, Reddit, even those wild AI discords.
Oh, wow. Sounds like we're going deep.
We are. And let me tell you, things are getting interesting out there. We've got Microsoft making some moves. Elon Musk, well, he's making promises again.
He does love to make promises, doesn't he?
He does. And then we've got NVIDIA. They might just blow your mind with this new supercomputer they're working on.
Okay, I am officially intrigued. Let's dive in. Where do we even begin with all this news?
Well, one thing that kept popping up was this whole open source AI thing that seems to be exploding right now. Have you been following what Microsoft is doing with their 5.4 model?
Oh, yeah, 5.4. Releasing it under the MIT license. That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Right. And it's not just the licensing. People on Reddit are going crazy over how good it is. They're saying it's amazing at reasoning, even beating out some of those bigger closed models in benchmarks. What do you think about all that?
I think it's huge. I mean, think about it. This is like unlocking a treasure chest of AI tools for everyone. Now, smaller companies, researchers, even you and I, we can experiment with these models, build on them without all those restrictions that usually come with proprietary licenses.
So you're saying this could lead to even more innovation in the AI world?
Exactly. And it's not just Microsoft doing this. We're seeing this trend toward open models everywhere. There's DeepSeek V3. It's this massive model, like 671 billion parameters.
Wait, 671 billion? Is that even possible?
It is, and get this, it's available through GGUF. It basically makes it easier to share and run these huge models, even on your own computer.
So people are actually able to use this thing.
Yeah, the community is going wild figuring out how to run it, even on limited hardware. There's been some success with this technique called 2-bit quantization, which basically shrinks the model down so it takes up less memory.
That's incredible. So it really seems like this whole open source movement is making AI more accessible to, well, everyone.
Absolutely, and that wider access is what could be a real game changer, leveling the playing field and giving more people a chance to shape the future of AI.
Okay, open source is definitely huge. But let's talk about AI and jobs, because that's what a lot of people are worried about, right?
Hmm.
What happens to all the jobs when AI can do them for us? What do you make of Google's CEO claiming that 25% of their new code is AI generated now?
Yeah, 25%, that's a big chunk. It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? What does this mean for the role of software engineers going forward?
Right. On the one hand, imagine all the tedious coding tasks we can automate. But then, what happens to the people who used to do those jobs?
That's the big question. Some people are seeing this as a threat to jobs, while others are saying it's a way to boost productivity, letting engineers focus on the more complex, creative stuff.
So like a tool to enhance their work, not replace it.
Yeah, potentially. And it's not just Google making waves in this space. Do you hear what Salesforce said? No new software engineers in 2025.
Wait, seriously, what are they doing?
They're all in on AI. They're saying their Agentforce product is such a productivity booster, they just don't need to expand their engineering team.
Wow, that's a bold move. It really makes you wonder what the job market will look like in a few years.
It does, and it raises even more questions. How will these changes affect different industries? What skills will be most valuable in a world powered by AI? Things we'll definitely need to keep an eye on.
For sure. Well, speaking of AI powered, have you seen what NVIDIA's been up to? They've got this new Cosmos model they're calling the foundation for building realistic virtual worlds. That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, World Foundation model, they're calling it. It's a pretty ambitious project. They trained it on something like 20 million hours of video.
20 million hours. Are you serious? That's like an entire lifetime of footage.
It's massive, but what I find really interesting is the open model license they're using for it. That means people can use it commercially and even create their own models based on it.
So they're not just trying to keep it all to themselves.
Nope. They might be focusing on selling those GPUs, but this open approach, it could lead to a whole ecosystem of tools and applications built on Cosmos. It's a smart move, encouraging collaboration and innovation.
It is. But you know what really caught my eye from NVIDIA? Project DGITS, the world's smallest AI supercomputer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Packing that much power into a device that small, that's some serious engineering.
Right. And people are already going nuts about it. I saw people on Twitter and Discord speculating about how well it will perform, what this means for the future of AI research. It's pretty wild.
It is pretty exciting. Imagine being able to run these complex AI experiments right on your desk, without needing access to some huge data center. This could really make AI research more accessible.
That's a great point. It could open up a lot of possibilities for smaller research teams, independent researchers, people who wouldn't normally have access to that kind of power.
Exactly. It's definitely something to watch. It's still early days, but the potential is huge.
Well, speaking of big promises and potential, remember when Elon Musk said he was going to release an AI better than ChatGPT back in December?
Oh, how could I forget?
Yeah.
Classic Elon, right? Big promises, tight deadlines. The AI community has been having a field day with this one.
Yeah, Twitter's full of memes about Musk missing deadlines. But seriously, do you think there's any substance to his claims?
Tough to say. Musk has his own definition of ready, But even if his AI isn't everything he's hyping it up to be, it just shows how fast things are moving in this field.
True. Who knows what will be possible even a few months from now? It's kind of crazy to think about.
It is. We're living through a technological revolution here, and every day it feels like there are new breakthroughs and possibilities.
I'm really glad we're doing this deep dive to help us navigate it all.
Me too. It's
Although-
so easy to get lost in the constant flood of information. Focusing on the key themes like this really helps to see the bigger picture and understand what it all means.
All right, so far we've covered the rise of open source AI, the potential impact on the job market, and some pretty mind-blowing hardware. Anything else from the news that caught your attention?
Yeah, there's one thing that really stuck with me, and that's all the talk about AI ethics.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing more and more conversations about that too.
Mhm.
Responsible AI development.
Exactly. It's not just about what we can do with AI, but what we should do, right?
You're right, we can't just race toward progress without thinking about the consequences. We need to make sure AI is used for good.
Couldn't agree more. And this is a conversation that everyone needs to be a part of, shaping the future of AI to benefit everyone.
Well said. It's definitely a lot to think about, but it's also incredibly inspiring to see all this innovation happening.
Absolutely. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI. Who knows what we'll be talking about in our next deep dive?
I can't wait to find out. But for now, I'm curious, what stood out to you from all of this? What rabbit holes are you going to dive down next? Let us know, and maybe it'll spark our next deep dive.
Until next time, happy exploring.
You know, with all this talk about the potential of AI, it got me thinking about Elon Musk's big announcement.
Oh, yeah, you mean his whole thing about releasing an AI that's supposed to be even better than ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely got people talking.
Yeah, especially with the deadline he set for himself, end of December. And well, the AI community's been having a little fun with it.
Oh, I've seen the memes. They're pretty funny. It seems like anytime Musk sets a deadline, it turns into this whole internet event.
He does have a reputation for those ambitious timelines and bold claims. But, even if this AI of his isn't actually ready, it still shows just how competitive things are getting in the AI space.
That's true. It feels like everyone's trying to be the first to come up with the next big AI breakthrough. Which, speaking of competition, did you see what Google's CEO said? 25% of their new code is being generated by AI now.
Yeah, 25%. That's a pretty big number, right?
Yeah.
It really shows how fast AI is changing the way we work. It's pretty wild. Exciting, but also a little bit, I don't know, unsettling. Think about all the time we could save if AI could handle all those boring coding tasks. But then what happens to the people who used to do them?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure. Some people see it as a threat, like AI is coming for their jobs, but others see it more as a tool, something to help them be more productive and focus on the more creative parts of their work.
So, it's not necessarily replacing jobs, but changing them.
Exactly. And Google's not the only company thinking along these lines. Remember Salesforce saying they're not hiring any new software engineers in 2025?
Wait, are they serious? I thought they were always hiring.
Yeah, well, not anymore. They're
Yeah.
putting all their eggs in the AI basket. They're basically saying their Agentforce product is so good, it makes their team so much more productive, they don't need to hire new engineers.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement. It really makes you wonder what the job market is going to look like in a few years.
No kidding. And it brings up even more questions. How is AI going to impact different industries? What skills will people need to be successful in a world where AI is doing more and more? Definitely something to watch.
Absolutely. Well, since we're on the topic of AI-powered things, I got to ask, have you seen what NVIDIA's doing, their new Cosmos model? They're calling it the foundation for building super realistic virtual worlds.
Yeah, the World Foundation model. That's a pretty bold claim. 20 million hours of video footage. That's what they trained it on.
20 million? Are you serious?
Mhm.
That's like more than a lifetime of video.
It's insane. But what I find most interesting about this is their open model license. People can use it commercially, even make their own models based on it.
So they're not just keeping it to themselves.
Nope. They might be in the business of selling GPUs, but making this model open. Smart move. It could create this whole ecosystem of tools and applications built on Cosmos. It's all about collaboration and encouraging innovation.
I like that. But honestly, what really blew me away with NVIDIA was Project Digits. A supercomputer, but tiny.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? To fit that much power into something so small, that's some next level engineering.
I know, right? People are losing their minds over it on Reddit, in the AI discords. Everyone's wondering how well it will actually work, what this means for AI research. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It is. Think about it. Running complex AI models right on your desk, no need for some giant data center. That could be huge for smaller research teams, independent researchers, anyone who wants to experiment but doesn't have access to all that computing power.
It could really democratize the field.
Exactly. It's too early to say for sure, but it definitely has potential.
Well, speaking of big potential, remember Elon Musk's promise to release an AI that's better than ChatGPT? He said it would be ready back in December.
Ah, yes, Elon and his deadlines. I think the AI community is starting to see it as a bit of a running joke.
Yeah, the memes on Twitter are hilarious. But do you think there's any chance he could actually pull it off?
Who knows, right? He has a history of, let's say, flexible deadlines. But even if this AI isn't everything he's claiming it to be, it just shows how fast things are developing in this field.
That's true. What seems impossible today could be reality tomorrow.
Exactly. It's what makes it so exciting. We're in the middle of this massive technological revolution. Every day there's something new, some new breakthrough or possibility.
And it could be hard to keep up with it all.
Yeah, there's so much information out there, it's easy to get overwhelmed. That's why I think these deep dives are so helpful. Taking a step back, focusing on the key themes, it helps us make sense of it all.
I agree. So far, we've talked about open source AI, the potential impact on jobs, and some pretty amazing hardware. Anything else in the news that stood out to you?
You know, one thing that I keep thinking about is all the talk about AI ethics.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely been a big topic lately, responsible AI development.
Exactly. It's not just about pushing the limits of what's possible, it's also about making sure we're doing it the right way. AI should benefit humanity.
I completely agree. We need to be having these conversations about bias, transparency, accountability, all of it.
Absolutely. And it's not just a conversation for the tech experts. This is something that affects everyone, and we all need to be a part of shaping the future of AI.
Well said. It's a lot to think about, but it's also pretty inspiring to see so much happening in this field.
Yeah, we really are just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI. Who knows what incredible things we'll be discussing in our next deep dive.
I can't wait to find out. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap up this deep dive into the AI Daily News Digest. Okay, so we're back, ready to finish up our deep dive into all this crazy AI news. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
It has so much to talk about. Open source models, tiny supercomputers. It's mind-blowing how fast this field is moving.
I know, right? Every day there's something new to learn about. And with the Ides of the Month coming up, who knows what kind of AI bombshells are going to drop.
The Ides of the Month. Good way to put it. It's like the calm before the AI storm, you know?
Right. But before we get too caught up in what the future holds, I'm curious, what was the biggest thing that stood out to you from all this news?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So much to choose from. But I think for me, it has to be this whole trend towards open source AI. I think that could really change everything.
Yeah, it feels like a major shift.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think it'll have on the AI world long term?
Well, imagine this. Smaller companies, startups, even individuals, they suddenly have access to the same powerful tools that only the big tech companies had before. It's like leveling the playing field.
It could lead to more innovation, more competition, more people pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. Imagine the creativity that could be unleashed when everyone has the tools to experiment and explore new ideas. It's really exciting.
It is. But are there any downsides to this open source movement that we should be thinking about?
Well, yeah, there are always risks with any powerful technology. One worry is that open source AI could be used for bad things, you know, creating deepfakes or developing autonomous weapons, stuff like that.
It's true. Any tool can be used for good or bad. We need to be careful.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations about AI ethics, responsible AI development, making sure it's used to help people, not hurt them.
Couldn't agree more. It's not just about progress for progress's sake. It's about making sure that progress benefits everyone.
Well said. It's a tough balance to strike, but a necessary one.
Absolutely. So we've talked about open source AI, the potential effects on jobs, the importance of ethics, Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this up?
What really strikes me is just how incredibly fast everything is moving. It's mind-blowing, really.
I know, it's hard to keep up sometimes. Every week there's something new and groundbreaking, a new model, a new algorithm, a new application. It never stops.
And it makes you realize that we're living through something truly special, a technological revolution unlike anything we've seen before. Exciting and a little overwhelming all at the same time.
Definitely. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. That's why I love doing these deep dives, taking the time to filter through all the noise and focus on what's really important.
Yeah, it helps to make sense of it all, put it in perspective.
Right.
And who knows, maybe our next deep dive will be even more amazing. Who knows what the future holds?
I can't wait to find out. But for now, it's time to sign off. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the AI Daily News Digest.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
And remember, the future is what we make it. So let's make it a good one. See you next time.